Let's do it.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Shedding Your Skin. I've got the guys that helped out for the Stand Sea of Serpents auction on. These guys played a huge role in helping to make everything a success on Thursday night. It was the first time that any of us had really had a huge part in anything like that. It was a lot of work on the back end for me, but these guys, on the panel killed it. Vance was handling making sure the Duns were in the chat. We tried something new where we had one person watching that was entering, when the Duns were, and then pausing in between, so we could sort of control, the timing. Because sometimes, we have a delay, right? We if we say done, you don't hear it, until a couple seconds later. So we tried to, we tried something new. It worked out pretty well, I think. But overall, I'm still speechless at, how much was raised. And, it was on the heels of another auction for the same cause, back-to-back nights. And this community continues to amaze me as much as it frustrates the hell out of me sometimes. But yeah, it was amazing to see all these people come together to help somebody out.
Right.
During probably the worst week of Stan's life. It's truly amazing. And I can't thank you all. I've tried to thank as many of you as I could personally, tried to tag you in post, message you, things like that. But yeah, it was truly amazing. It was pretty hectic to put on the event, but it was, yeah. I was
first off, I think we need to give props to you, Kent.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
you did way more work than anyone in this. I mean, me and Justin might have been on a screen, but none of this would have went as smoothly and happened if it wasn't for your behind the scene work.
Yep.
So kudos to you, buddy, because you did a hell of a lot.
Without a doubt.
So fortunately, the weather sort of helped me out immensely this week. So it snowed like crazy, I had off on a Tuesday, and that usually doesn't happen.
Yeah, thank God for snow. Who says that?
Day, I had pretty much, once we figured everything out, I had Monday and Tuesday to do this, and then some finishing stuff up on Wednesday, going back and forth between me and Holly to see, where we're at, because, it got confusing over the weekend due to the circumstances. But yeah, and I did learn some things from doing this, and I wasn't really thinking on my feet when we were having these donations come in. So people, if they had sent me pictures of swag, something like that, I could have swapped my screen out that I had up there with the slides, and actually gone to a browser window for Instagram and shown the dang thing, instead of here, with my phone being like this. Then you get the ring light and the reflections and all that stuff. But so
it was a learning process.
Yeah, lessons learned there. And we did miss some things. And
yes, we did.
I appreciate everybody that was sending in other things to be included. I think for me, unless it's something like when Billy Rose texts you, hey, I want to do a 1K credit. For things like that, I don't. I think I would put them towards the end. So I can sort of recover and plan for it. Right. Some of the other things I put into the spreadsheet, I completely missed one from a sponsor, which we worked out because he's providing shed testing for every pod set that he has a test for. So huge shout out And thank you to Charlie at Gray Rider Reptiles for that and working with us. So if you want a Paws hat in the auction, you'll have to reach out to him and let him know. I sent him a list of everything. So there's no shenanigans. You can't just be like, listening to this
Like
right now.
Mm-mm.
Listening to this right now, be like, oh, this is stand auction. I'm gonna get a free shed test. No.
Nope.
I would like to throw a shout out to Juan at Windy City Morphs. He was another donation that we missed. He had wanted to put up $1,000 credit towards his store, which that guy's got some heat. He emailed me or DM'd my Instagram while we was on the show, and I couldn't see it. But I at least wanted to shout him out and say thank you. We seen it. Sorry we didn't get to it. But once again, it just shows how amazing this community really is.
So we're gonna do some of an auction for some of the stuff that wasn't on there, or no?
No. So I think the best way to go forward is if anybody has things that we missed, however you want to handle it. If you want to do a spin to win on your Instagram or whatever, to go towards stand, you are more than welcome to do that. Okay. It's just been a lot to track, a lot of work, and to do another one after we've already did one.
Right.
Kind of like beating a dead horse. We don't want to beat a dead horse. We want to smack that live horse.
Right.
I think the grand total raised. So there was, I want to say, about $1,500 in the GoFundMe prior to anything being auctioned off.
Nice.
We lost Ken, and then Holly's auction did about
$55.
Just over, you're like $5,500. So I mean, it's somewhere between like 18 and 20 grand. I don't have the exact numbers. So
I have the exact numbers right here. From my understanding, it's 55.30 with Holly's and
12,390 with us.
Larry put in an extra $20, so it's 12.
So it's not
$12,410.
$10. Okay, so then I have $17,920 total. So add an extra $20.
Yep.
$17,940 total.
Okay,
almost $1,800.
And the other
$1,000.
$1,500 from what was initially in that GoFundMe.
Yep.
So, I mean, that is amazing.
It's amazing. That's amazing. That's
Yes, he did, man. He's killed it.
I'm still like, I don't know. I still don't believe I have the spreadsheet here where I see, the amount, and it's like, wow. So, I mean, I also have to thank Billy for coming in and putting up not one, but two $1,000 store credits.
3. He did 3.
I was getting to that. And then he gave the runner-up, who was bidding with Jesus from Rising Sun, the opportunity to get a third one for $650 donated. So I mean, that was awesome. Those were like the big donations. I wish we would have seen Juan's, because that would have gone.
Sure would have.
And thanks to KG at Bomb Projects for putting that one up. It was a $500 credit for anything over $1,000 one-time purchase, and that's already been taken care of, right? Larry from Lindworm donated that night, messaged KG, and that deal's already been done. I mean, that's how crazy this all is.
I heard Elias already got his swag sent out, going to I think Having a Ball Python.
Yeah. A lot of people have been working to try to get the logistics of this taken care of, and it's just been amazing to see some of this stuff. I also want to thank Ashley and Nikita from Pep Stalkers. They donated.
Oh, yes.
Like, I want to say most of the auction items. There was a lot of stuff that they put up, especially two $500 credits.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did amazing too. They're like one of the top. They're freaking amazing. Shout out to Pip
Right.
Stalker.
Yeah, definitely.
And Kurtwood put up two $500 credits. So I mean that's awesome.
Yep.
I tried to tag everybody in a post or something like that had contributed quite a bit towards either
Capital City did some good stuff.
he did. But it's all going to the same place.
Right.
Yeah, Rob was trying to get that one. What's good, Phil? I was trying to get your Grail stuff, but I got outbid. So okay, gotta thank you. And obviously we have to thank Robin and Redline Shipping.
Right.
He shared it out on Redline Shipping, Redline Science, and the Reptile Report. And he's covering 60% off the FedEx price for shipping.
That's amazing.
If you use Redline. Obviously, that's not going to be the case for store credits, things like that. It's any item. I don't think a store credit is an item.
No.
So I wouldn't be like, because I don't know how many of these have an expiration date. So if you sit on a Pip Stalker's credit till next year,
Exactly.
I don't think Rob is going to be like,
No.
I mean, he might, but I wouldn't,
All right.
try to get that. But yeah, it was incredible. Robin, has been so helpful in sharing things out, getting things out to a broader audience than any of us ever could.
Hell yeah.
So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys here on the panel that helped out. Thanks to everybody in the community, and thanks to everybody that donated and helped make this, really, really help stand out. With that being said, we have allowed people to make payments up until February 10th. That was the date of the original auction. So, if somebody saw the list and was planning for that, I didn't really make the list public, but I had shared it out a couple places. So we're going to give you up until then. Please pay sooner, donate sooner, and let Ken from LMK Reptiles know that you have proof of donation, and make sure whatever item you won, you have to reach out to the donor and let them know, because I don't want them sending out anything before we see that you guys have actually made your donation and followed up with that.
All right.
But yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, it was amazing. Okay.
I also wanted to say, let's shout out Vance, because we tried this out, and with him saying the duns and him being able to make himself available for 4.5 hours and sit there and get on them duns like he was, like, he did an amazing job. And shout out to you, bud. You were our dun guy, and you pulled it off, and you did well.
Hell
Thank
yeah,
you. Appreciate it.
Give us
And one of the things that really, we made it short notice, right? We moved it up. There was some confusion, and I think some other donations might have come in, and we probably could have handled that better, reaching out to some of those people. But on my end, people that had said, "Hey, I have to look," I didn't reach out to them.
Yeah, there was a couple out there that said, "Hey, I had to look," but by the time we got back around to it, it was right around the corner, and we was almost at 60 already. So it was just like, if they really want to donate, they'll reach out. But I guarantee we could have gotten at least 100 things to auctions if we would have really went back.
We'd have probably been up all night. But with that being said, if anybody chooses that was wanting to donate an animal or an item or something like that, the GoFundMe is still active. You can go to that.
Yep.
And donate there. And I think he's at $6,500. There was a $10,000 goal. So I don't know how many people that haven't paid yet, or where they're sending, either to Cash App, PayPal, Stand directly if they're local, or the GoFundMe. But I'd really like to see that the GoFundMe hit the goal.
Right.
Oh, it should definitely hit its goal. It should definitely 1000%.
I mean,
But
yeah.
it
At the
already
end of
did
the
hit its goal. Technically, it definitely did.
right, just not through the GoFundMe. But yeah, I mean, I'm still like kind of in shock. I'm also very sleep deprived.
Yeah, I was still surprised, man. Yesterday, I was like super happy. I was like, dude, we hit like Holly's was 55, and then we're over here hitting 12.5. Like all together, that was like $18,000. That was just so amazing, man. Like I really, honestly, I was in shock. Like, dude, this really happened. Like it's crazy,
Yeah.
but I'm super stoked. It worked out.
yeah. I mean, it was.
Everybody definitely did a good job, man. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially for the people that were donating weren't on the panel for the most part. So I was just showing, here's a photo. Sometimes it was good, sometimes it was bad, sometimes it was horrible when it was on my phone. But yeah, it's just amazing.
Yeah, I just said I'm going to start a bid on this one, so I did it, and then it just kept going. I think it was one of the Beardies or something. It went up to like $70 or 100 or something. I can't remember, but
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there were a few that I was interested in.
Well, I knew they were gonna try to snipe me for that crested, and Alex looked at me and was like, "I want it," and I was like, "All right."
I figured she was the one doing that.
I told her, I was like, "If you want it, you better be ready to snipe because Vance is about to say it. I'm counting it down, and I can't. My fingers are busy, so."
Right.
yeah, and it's hard because like when I put the duns in, there's like an 8 to 10 second difference to when you guys see it. So I'll put a done and I'll see it because I was doing it. I had the laptop in my phone, and so I put it in my phone done, and then I see it on the laptop, but you guys don't see it yet, and you guys are waiting for it, and there's like an 8-second difference. So I was like, okay, well, I'll hit it like once you start counting after a while, I'm like, okay, I see how this is going. So I hit it like around 10 seconds. I hit the first done. Then I try around 5 seconds to be like at the second. And then around the last part, I'll do the third done. And
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's easier, but there's a lag of us getting to you and then you getting, back to us. It works both ways.
Right.
And then, because it's on YouTube and we're on StreamYard, there's even more of a delay between when we actually can see it.
Right.
It might have been easier if, to look at the actual YouTube comment chat rather than, we have it on the side of our screen here. So.
Hey, Alexandra.
You know her, Justin?
I guess. I don't know.
She must be your biggest fan.
Yeah, she's got a crush on you.
We was talking about you, Alex. No one else. We was just playing it with you. Talking about you. No one out there got a crush on your man.
But yeah, again, huge thank you.
He come home, bust you ass.
But with that being said, these animals are coming from all over the country. Most places it's cold, so be patient for shipping windows, things like that to open up. Obviously, if the donor doesn't have proof of your donation to Stan, it won't be shipped. And if you absolutely do not pay, somebody will come find you. And I hope you stub your toe, step on a Lego, and hit no clutches for the rest of your life.
Well, I mean, what we announced is they're not allowed to bid on a further auction. They're not allowed to win anything in any of the RWO giveaways. Like, you're totally disqualified. And I'm gonna, if you guys don't want to, I'll auction that snake back off and say it's because this person didn't pay. I mean, I don't like calling people out, but on something like this, like, you need to be called out. Like,
you got to be certain that you're getting it, that you have the money or will have the money.
And I will say this, because Rob brought this up. A lot of us that do sell to people, do interact with people. We have a list.
A blackball list.
Exactly. You spent, you said you donated $1,000 and then you have, an emergency situation where you don't have that $1,000. but yeah, a lot of us have a list of people that we won't sell to, we won't interact with, because there's been something's left a bad taste in their mouth. Whether it's
Right.
I'm gonna inquire about this animal and then make you spend, I don't know, a couple hours going back and forth just to back out,
Right.
or they sell you something that is completely far off from what it is. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that there's a couple breeders I won't buy from just because I've seen things in chats that, hey, this was a bad experience. It's like, okay, good to know.
Is it called the Burn Book? Or is this like an episode of Mean Girls?
Sure.
We're making a burn book. Don't be in it.
But yeah, once again, thank you everybody that helped out, that participated, that donated, that shared this out. It's been a long week, but rest assured, it was successful, and we raised money to help stand out in this time. So enough on the auction. I'm sure everybody. I've been inundating everybody with it. It's been a lot. So all right. So we are in the new year. What have you guys been pairing so far?
Everything.
Everything.
So I got my Orange Dream Pastel to my Pastel GHI Freeway, and I got my Calico Albinos done locked again to my Black Pastel Albino.
Nice.
And we got
that would look nice.
Yeah, that one's, I'm waiting on that one for sure. Then I took because I thought my normal I thought she was already ovulating and whatnot. Either this is why I'm waiting on an ultrasound. Either she absorbed or whatnot, but I put my male back in there. They kind of act interested during the storm, so I don't know if they locked again. It kind of looked like they might have, but I didn't get a guarantee on it. But then the next 2 days that went by, they were separated, so I put them back in there, and we'll see on that one. Well,
Oh yeah.
That was an inchy clown to an 18-year-old girl that I grew up with that I don't know what is in her at all. So, but I call her my normal, but there's something definitely different in her. But I put my inchy clown to it, so
Nice.
yeah, that one comes.
Yeah. So when I notice it, like if I put him in for like a couple days, they're separated, no locks, no nothing. I stop pairing.
Yep.
Because she's not interested. I mean,
Right.
She's already done her job, or she's
Well, that's what happened months ago. Was them two were stopped interested in each other. So I was like, okay, you're gonna build, you're gonna do your thing, and then she even went off of food and it looked fat as fuck. And the next day I went in there and she looked back down to normal size. I'm like, well, did you absorb on me? What did you do? I don't know what happened. So I gave it a few months and now I put it back in there and see what happened. And it looks like they were definitely on each other. Pheromones were in there again. So I don't know if she's redoing the process all over again or what. So
I had that happen with my daughter. Like the first season I was pairing her and it's like she swelled a couple times, but it wasn't that like full blown.
Right.
Like when if you see an ovulation, you know what it looks like.
Exactly.
So I was like, you know what? It was really late when she was doing all that. So I started pairing her again, and I think I might have caught her while she wasn't fully reabsorbed. And then she just started building again.
Hell yeah.
Because I got the clutch from her, and actually she's up on my morph market right now for $200. And her one daughter is leopard pastel. They're both for $100. So if anybody wants them, please buy them, and I will ship them when I can.
But I got a lemon bash trick that's ready. She's ready. That I haven't paired to anything yet. I'm about to, and then I have a gravel or a highway. I have a highway that I'm about to pair to something as well.
Oh yeah.
And she's ready. So I'm like, what am I gonna do yet with those? Which I think I'm trying to put my super gravel male to my highway, but I got another few months till he's ready. So
you pop them yet?
Making all highways and super gravels. I mean,
super
they're
gravel.
good snakes to sell.
Yeah. And I'll hold a handful of them back, and those will be like some good bases, and then I'll start running that project more. It's more than like I got those two to make my pairings and make a good whole batch. My first season's gonna be whole back heaven, honestly. So
yeah. I mean, I missed out on a lot last year. This year, I'm not doing as many because I'm moving off of some of the females, some of the projects. because I don't want to be sitting here with a bunch of pastel males. I can't give these away.
Right.
So there's a couple things like I'm not making. I'm not really doing any pairings that are, just show stuff. Just stuff to sell. I think I only have one. Well, depending if this one is these Het's proven this one, but they might all go, and then I'll probably sell that breeder as well, and give up on her or send her shed testing. But there's only no, they'd all be Het clowns, so they wouldn't be normals.
Right.
There's one chance, and I paired my champagne pastel, whatever the heck else is in them, to my black pastel, just because those can be some visually cool looking snakes with ringers and all sorts of crazy stuff. So I mean that's the only one I'm doing where I could potentially hit a normal, but he didn't throw any normals the last time.
Right.
When he went 2 years ago. So we'll see. And then the one, if she goes again for me this year, the one that's going to suck, I'm pairing my Highway male proven breeder I got from Nathan at Infinite Impossible Pythons. I'm putting into my Bumblebee Spark.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So
I could go through my pairings.
Yellow belly or gravel. Right. So I would assume that I can tell, is it a Puma and a bypass?
Right.
Hell yeah.
But when in the single gene, if the spider and the pastel show up, it might be a little difficult.
Right.
So those might just be show snakes. But obviously, if I hit the acts like super, I can use them in the future.
I want to see that normal. I see them all talking about it in the chat.
Yeah, as Malaysia was saying last night, the bat signal. Everybody's got theirs. Talk about Ultramel, I show up.
There's that old ass girl I got.
Yeah, let me blow you up.
This girl actually I partied with in high school, but hold on, change the color of the line. See, that makes it better. Oh yeah.
Big old girl.
Yeah, I got a big old Het Pied girl tonight.
I don't know what she is. I don't know anything about. Like I said, this is like my buddy had her in high school, and then when I got into the hobby, I hit him up, and he's like, "Go buy mom's," and I had to get her back to health. She was definitely in bad shape over there, but I picked her up and brought her back to life, and now she's been pairing and doing her thing. Definitely, you can see the head. Let's see. Oh, she about to go. You got zombie eye look to you almost. Let's see. I can't get her head. She was on a cup break. Come on, Peanut. And her name's Peanut.
Peanut.
Oh yeah, you name everything. That's right.
It's old Peanut for you, but I don't have no clue what's in it. None whatsoever. So it's got a nice little belly pattern on it as well.
That's nice. Yeah, there's still something about like the normal. Yeah.
Right. Well, honestly, it was like I had to have it. It was a snake that when I was a kid, we partied. Literally, I partied with that snake. There's no lie on that. So I've had some fun times with that snake. So I was like, oh, I'll go get it for sure. I remember it was when I was younger, it's got to be like 15 to 18 years old. We were trying to sit down and do the math one day, and it's at least around 15 to 18 years old, which is pretty crazy.
I had one, I forget. At one point, I had leopard geckos in college. They were, I think, 2 girls or something like that. I traded them to my buddy for I think it was my 3rd ball python at the time. And actually, the leopard geckos produced some babies, so that was nice. But that female, I initially had sent her up to my buddies. It was going to be our first pairing. She randomly died. She was huge, though. I mean, that's done. But what you got there, Ken?
This is the spot nose double het live clown. She went to a triple het male Het Clown Pied live. She's been off food for about 2 months. So she should be soon. Her backbone's starting to stick out here a little bit.
You just sitting on that beat.
I don't know if she's starting to lose weight or that she's raising it to lay, but we'll see.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
I mean, you can check her weight on a freaking scale, man.
Yeah. This is my ivory het clown. He went to a gravel het clown het ultramel.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
She's a big old girl. I mean, she got some girth. My triple het. She's or Blade Het Clown Pied Lab. Yeah, she's gonna bite me, so I ain't gonna show her. She's Het Clown Pied Lab and went to the same triple het Clown Pied Lab, and that's my
Have a good one.
Black Pastel Bamboo Ultramel, and that's the gravel het clown het ultramel that went to her.
Hell yeah.
They're
Yeah.
pairing up,
Nice.
getting together a lock there. This is my big ass gravel female Annabelle. She just went off food 2 weeks ago. She's always dumping her water bowl, but she's huge.
Oh yeah, you're beast. Beast.
That one sheet super gravel clutch there, gravel to gravel.
I mean, so
I'm doing this pairing again here. This is that one from Triforce that created all that
you're
awesome
wacky.
clown clutch. This is
Your
the
wacky
pairing.
stuff.
Yeah, my wacky stuff. I'm repeating the pairing. Put him back in with her this weekend.
You popped out some pretty nice looking stuff.
Yep. This is the female that did it. And this is the male. So we're doing that again.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think the only repeat pairing that I did was the Ultramel Pinstripe to the Cinnamon. And I can pair him to my Pied Girl, but I don't want double hets that I really can't do nothing with. Currently.
Right.
So I have to figure out what I'm gonna do. Unless that male starts eating, then I can do that. What you got there, Ken?
This is the chocolate Hidden Gene Wuma Pinstripe Het Hypo Possible Special. She went to that Leopard Grim Clown as well.
Is it pos
So we're
special
gonna
on that
get-
one?
Yeah, it's Possible Special, but it's chocolate Hidden Gene Wuma. It's an allelic combo, so every
Combo,
egg is going to have chocolate or Hidden Gene Wuma in it.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And Ken, since you like Grim so much, there's one up for on Morph Market auctions.
Right. Oh, look, there's a lock right there between the Phantom Het Clown and the Super Pastel Het Sunset Het Clown.
We can't.
We
see
got a
it.
lock. We're going to leave them alone.
Hey, did you put the stickers on the tubs from the breeders you got them from?
No, they're random.
Okay.
This,
Dude, I got a memory bank.
Right.
And
this
sorry,
is the
all
Black
the-
Pewter,
My
Black
house.
Pewter Yellow Belly Het Pied. She went to my Het Pied or my Pied male, which I don't know is bought as a normal, but I don't think there's nothing normal about him. I'm still trying to figure him out. This is the Blade Lace Clown. She went to that Sunset. Super Pastel Het Clown Het Sunset.
I still say you got to get a Het Sunset.
Yeah, I'm going to be getting a Het Sunset female sooner or later. I just
The
haven't
price
been
is
able to
wrong,
really
man.
afford it. I'm not going to get those ones down, but that's a spot nose vanilla Het Clown female. I put the GHI Het Clown to her. Both Enchi double het hypo DGs are locking to the Yellow Belly Pinstripe Orange Ghost. That's Het Desert Ghost. My Mojave Asphalt male has numerous locks to the Fire Asphalt female. The Huffman HRA Orange Ghost has locked to that Leopard Grim Clown. And there's another pairing that I don't really talk much about, but it could be pretty cool. It's the Black Pastel Huffman. So it's a black pearl, possible mahogany, het hypo, pos het hypo female, or pos het pied female to the lace het orange ghost.
Hell yeah.
So those are my pairings, and I've seen many locks, like at least 2 or 3 locks on each pairing.
Hell yeah.
And we got some decent stuff coming this year, but next year, once these babies get the size, my clutches are going to be like cha-ching.
It's like
Yeah.
Richie said, that's what I'm working on next with ultrasound. If I think next month or by the end of this month, I'll have an ultrasound. That's what
Yeah,
trying
man,
to
I
fucking
think
rat
that's the same plan here. I mean, it's like $50 a shed test, and I have a lot of stuff to test. But I don't think that I'm going to be making many more actual snake purchases this year after I get, what I've already committed to.
Right. That's how I feel. I gotta pay off what I got real quick. I need some more, but I gotta pay off.
Because the ultrasound, it's gonna help to guide my pairings. When I pair, the shed testing will further dictate who gets paired to who. So I think I want to take care of all of that. So if this thing's not het pied, why am I paying for a het pied test of its offspring?
Right. I want to add another male. That's what I need to add.
So there's 2 that depending on if this clown proves out to be het for Orange Ghost. If he does, that's great. I don't need to get a visual male hypo.
Right.
And I not really intending on working just hypo to work hypo. I'm going to throw in, ultramel pied. I'm throwing something else in. And I do need a backup pied male with some codoms. And
Right.
when I got in, I bought hatchlings, and they weren't, almost none of them were the right thing to buy at that time, and I was just getting females. So I had a bunch of like odds and ends, and they work. They're your popular codoms that are everywhere. Then last year I was getting some proven breeder stuff. Sort of, now I can fix some things now rather than waiting 2 to 3 years.
Right.
But I do have a lot of stuff that's growing up, which kind of stinks. It's like sort of hurry up and wait.
That's where I am. I bought a bunch of heat, but it's just waiting for it to all grow up. Now I can't do nothing with it but feed it and make sure it's doing its thing.
I mean,
So-
the plan was, last year would have been my first year where I was doing it, 3 to 4 or whatever was up to size at the time, and then this year was going to be like when I was originally, planning to pair like all 9 of these breeder size girls. But, that's changed. There's more heat, growing up here and here. It should be ready. Next year there's a super vanilla trick, possible het clown female that should be ready, and a spot nose leopard, possible het pied.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's it for stuff that's ready to go next year. But I was hoping on hitting some pied head ultramel stuff this year, and it doesn't look like that's the case. So I'm scrambling to find like a breeder, some codom pied, so I could put that to my het pied and at least hit some, codom pieds or codom het pieds. If I don't need them, I can move them because they always work well. If you're working, any recessive pied project.
Right.
But I need a male for the hypo kikis because I have a HRA genetic stripe head hypo coming. I got that. I made that clown head hypo girl this year because Charlie proved out her shed test. She is head hypo, that crazy looking one. So I got clown head hypo, and I have that orange ghost that's het clown and het genetic stripe female that's lesser inchy. So I have all 3 visuals in females. Now I just got to add the right male to it. And I don't know if anyone out there's got like a genetic stripe clown that's het hypo, wants to do split projects. I mean, I got 3 females next year.
Nobody's
going to be
now.
fire. Oh, I'm just saying.
Usually you send the females.
Well, I'm not sending 3 females to someone, so.
Well, then you're gonna probably be buying a snake.
Then I'm buying a snake.
So, like, what stinks from it? I mean, I have a chance. So I have 2 double het clown and G stripe, possible het enhancer males.
Right.
So if they don't prove out het enhancer, not that big of a deal. I'll take a G stripe and test for clown.
Right.
Just to work, G stripe in. But the female I got, and I got all these for like $85 because I got the 2 from Patreon. Unfortunately, I bought her as a het genetic stripe, possible het DG, which it's great. And then shed testing and all that jazz. Turns out, possibly het cryptic.
Wow.
So I can't make that triple recessive banger, but I can make a G stripe DG / enhancer Krypton.
Right.
Yep.
So I can't see myself spending with it like $300 or whatever it would be for all the sheds, or $200. So I'm just gonna wait up and pair. Hopefully I get lucky, and something cool pops out. Thanks for tuning in, Holly.
What you got over there, Vince?
So, Orange Dream that I had out of the pairing.
Damn, look at that OD on there. That's good too.
See, I like that OD.
That's a good line you got. Look at the belly on it too.
You sure I ain't IOD?
It's just it was a banana, Orange Dream, Yellow Belly, het pied, het ghost, hypo.
I'll get at you, Pat.
Damn.
Yeah, the orange is so bright on it though.
That's what I'm saying. You sure that's not high OD? Mandarin even?
I don't know.
I don't think somebody might randomly have Mandarin in their collection, but
You never know.
So Steven last night on Hair Down, he brings up
What's up, Snake Addicts?
they did I guess shed testing for like high ODs, and 2 of them came back positive, 2 of them came back for negative, and it's like, wait, they only did four tests looking for it. That's not a big number.
Right.
If they had done 1,000 tests and they came out all over the place, then who knows what the difference is.
Well, see, I feel high OD. What's up, Wiz? Was considered OD for such a long time that a lot of high OD has OD in it, and I think that's the issue.
Yeah, I mean, I just think like more needs to be done. I mean, Ozzy's the guy that obviously brought it in and worked that gene. So, is it line bred to that high OD, or is it, a completely, different line of, the same looking thing, right? Just a better version. So, I mean, I'll be interested to see how that plays out. I do think, at least with all the DG stuff, everybody sort of jumped the shark with that. Once all that information came out, that there, multiple different.
Is that a male or a female, Vance?
Female.
Damn.
Huh. I might be sending my high OD clown out your way.
Yeah.
But I do think.
Nice.
I've been mixed. So if like AJ, if you ever watch this and go back to me like whenever shed testing just came out and bring up my opinion, then it has changed. Because I know he's prone to do stuff like that. But I do think we can consolidate things, right? we're going to be able to know better. And I don't want to see this get to the point where it's, like crested geckos, or, where we're looking at more, lineages and all that stuff. If we have 5 morphs that we are calling 5 different things and they turn out to be one thing, let's just get it to that one thing.
Right.
You can call it your line.
Stop calling Coral Glow banana. Coral Glow is first. They're all Coral Glows.
I just think, but if you were like with Trick, Hurricane, and Blitz, you were paying a premium for one of them. They're all the same thing.
Yep.
That's shady.
Well, somebody gave me the story on that. Do you know the whole story on Trick, Blitz, Hurricane, all that?
I don't really care, and it probably came from Prophecy. Because he seems to be the one talking to everybody.
No, it didn't come to the Prophecy. Somebody noticed a couple of my snakes and asked me if I had Hurricane in it, and I was like, well, I don't know. And me and Cap had a conversation from Capital City about one of my snakes having Hurricane in it, and it just intrigued me. So we got into a long conversation about it, and he said at first the guy that was working Trick, that basically, not invented but discovered Trick, it was just like a flat market at first. No one wanted it, no one was interested in it, so he just started selling them off as normals, and someone that bought that normal discovered Hurricane. The other guy that bought this other normal, did Blitz. So, that's how the Blitz, Trick, and Hurricane came about. So he said that there's a lot more Trick out there and combos that people don't know they have because of how Trick was introduced to the market.
But at the same time, a lot of things can go unseen, like, Blade and Clown, leopard. Right. Some leopards having pied in it, or the snake is just overall too busy for you to properly ID everything that could be in there.
Exactly.
You could have this really reduced snake with a, massive, amount of genetics in it, but it doesn't look like it has it. So, or, you have 2 things in there that are like combating each other. It sort of, I don't want to say washes it out, but, you're not able to really visually see that. I think that happened with Pompeii, if I'm not mistaken. Is that he bred one and then found out something else was in that original one. I don't recall. There's too much ball python stuff going on for me to remember every little detail. But yeah, I do think sometimes we jump to get excited early. Right. And we were talking about this last night on Hair Down. If you say you buy something from Outback, right? An import. It could be something, it could be nothing. It could be something that already exists. So you get this, this looks yellow. If it looks yellow, if it looks like it's something that already exists, just get it shed tested at this point if they have the test.
Right.
Then save yourself the time.
This is yellow belly. Or, this is this. So I do think that it has to produce something that's just like, this is kind of incredible. Like, was it the Matrix thing that Mike is working with? That's
amazing. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, and plus you also have to work it with a bunch of other things. But yeah, I would get a panel test on those things right away if you think it's something different, just to make sure, it's not something that already exists. Yeah,
Baltimore's winning 3-0 to anyone that cares.
My team's out. They got beat by Billy's team. Actually, I think all of our teams are out of the playoffs. So okay, let's talk snakes. It's hockey season.
Hey, at least our 3 teams made the playoffs. Justin's didn't.
Yeah, it ain't happening.
I had to throw it out there because of your team, my team went. So thank you.
That was great. That was some nice karma stuff there. So I think Vance's team, the Rams, they were one of the few teams that actually played a game last weekend.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. Yeah. Exactly, Richie.
Next year.
Well, that Bill Steelers game made it look like that the refs controlled that game more than anything.
Yeah.
the Steelers fans say that about everything. So,
Right.
Yeah. How do you think?
and I watched the game and I was just like,
Black and yellow, black and yellow.
Hey,
I don't know.
Try being a millennial Cowboys fan.
Right. But then
Remember
after you see the
remember when-
videos afterwards and the evidence,
When they were good.
you're kind of like, well, I mean, they got a point.
Oh goodness. Conspiracy
So,
theories.
yeah, and there's holding on every play.
They
Okay,
make it sound good.
no more sports. This is Snake Channel.
Okay. Sorry.
Reptile
My
Channel.
bad.
But yeah, I mean, we tend to overall get overexcited about certain things, right?
Mhm.
So you get this import in, it looks different, or you think it looks different. You just get it at this point, get it shed tested, and then if it turns out to be something that is different, it's not anything there's a test for. Start pairing it. If it's a male, that would probably be the easiest. You would pair it to, maybe a something in the bell combo, something. You want to see what it does with a lot of genes that exist. You want to see what it does with con, with pied, all that. So I mean, so I wouldn't get too excited to say, "Hey, I found this new thing," without actually doing the legwork. And another thing I do think that we do a lot is that we see something come out, right? Somebody
Right.
produces something. So if a brand new snake combo comes out today, and you don't have the ingredients, but you decide to buy them today, you're going to be well behind everybody else that had the ingredients. So now, we're starting to see that with, some of these Batman things, some of these clown combos, is that we saw this a couple of years ago. Now there's, all the same snakes. And, I'm sorry if I see an animal that I want that's going to work in some project, and it's from Ozzy or somebody that I've never heard of, and the prices are similar, I'm probably going to go with that bigger name breeder.
Mhm.
Because I don't know you. And I know
But
this
what
guy.
if it's substantially lower? Like, say if you're talking about a $1,500 snake from Aussie or a $500 snake from a no name, it's the same price.
But it's the same thing.
Are you going to go with the no name or proven breeder?
My first question, why is it, if everything in that I'm looking at is $1,500 and this is the one for $500, what's wrong with that snake? What's going on?
I guess, but I mean, I'm going to mark my stuff a little bit lower than the bigger guys because I'm not as known. Now I might not cut it into a third like that, but if something I made and say if Ozzy's got it listed for 1,500, I'm at least putting 1,000 on it just to, make that person go, huh, maybe I might want to buy this one. It's $500 less.
Right. But when there's a huge price difference, it's like, what's going on?
I get it, but it could just very, very well be that they're trying to undercut the bigger dog by so much, so you go with the littler one.
Yeah.
But it is a question you have to ask. I get why you would ask it.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to hit a random, white snake or run into something where you're going to have some issues down the road.
Right.
But yeah, I do think we play a lot of follow the leader, and we're all making the same stuff. Be different. So if Batman is your jam, well, look at what hasn't been done. Look at what's not out there, and yeah, sometimes you might fail, and this thing doesn't look good. But if it does look good, and you're the first one to hit a whatever code clown, and it looks amazing, that's the way to get in. So like things like Furrow, Nyala, there's some.
That's what I was just going to say. I think Furrow has some potential.
I got Furrow over here. It's
Bongo.
Love it.
You got to be willing to gamble.
Yeah. I mean, if it looks good in clown on its own, it's probably going to look good with other codons or recessive things like that. But I just think we're making a lot of the same stuff, and a lot of our byproducts all the same stuff.
Yeah.
And because we're doing that, we're driving up inventory and driving down prices.
Yeah.
But
I just hope Grimm it's like one day somebody proves out to be its own gene, and it's not the same as Nanny or this or that, because these Granity genes haven't really been proven out to be different yet.
Have they been proven out to be actual genetics?
Other
than just polymorphism? I mean, that's my other thing.
Bob Boo proved out voodoo. You know what I mean? And it's a Granity gene.
No, I mean, he proved, that there's something there. But, is it just, a polymorphic trait that's appearing? Right? So there was a granite-looking animal. It produced more granity-looking animals. I'd like to see, the variations. I don't work anything like that. Because I have some of my hatchlings have some of the funkiness that the parent had. There's a little paradox in there, like a birthmark or something. I mean, so there's some things that just, get passed on, through like polymorphism, things like that, just little odds and ends that could be completely random. Like if you had, most paradoxing is completely random. You can't reproduce it.
All right.
Same with it. If you had a chimera, which is the twin snakes in one snake. So there was this thing, I forget who the heck had it, but it was on Morph Market for like anywhere between $35,000 and $50,000. Came with the social media. It was called Skittles.
Yeah.
It was like it was like 18 snakes in like one snake. And,
What?
Yeah, it's a pretty unique looking animal, but you wouldn't want to breed it since you can't reproduce it.
Skittles is awesome.
So, with what Richie's saying about pricing, the market's going to ebb and flow, right? I'm sorry, at any point moving forward, pastel on its own is probably not going to sell for that much. No. It's not. Normals have traditionally been $20, right? But some of these other codoms, single gene codoms that have been out forever, that people are producing a lot of, based on byproducts. Maybe there's hets in there, maybe there's not. It's just the things are getting better and better and better. So the stuff on the lower end, the prices are going to go down. But we also have a weird economy right now, where we have people that got fixated on the COVID prices or what things were going for when prices were good. I don't know, maybe $1,500.
What's the current price on a Batman? I mean, I'd say you could probably pick one up for $500 a nail.
But yeah, but even so, as you make more of the same thing, more product that's somewhat identical enters the market, it's going to drive the price down. So that's why I'm sort of trying to go to the route of what hasn't been done. How can I take what I'm doing and sort of veer off?
Right.
To sort of make some stuff that's uniquely going to be here. But yeah, we do get stuck on price. But if it's something that, has some staying power, don't sell it just to sell it.
Right.
Hold it back. The economy is going to rebound. The market's going to change. And, maybe you sell it when it starts to go up, kind of like, when COVID happened. I don't think we're going to see that ever again.
I think people need to stop racing towards the bottom.
You're going to see the market do this. I mean, it's a buyer's market right now. So if you can hold on to certain things and wait until it starts to go back to a seller's market, do that. I mean, if you have a breeder female, you're going to feed her for a year. But if you can get, let's say you can sell her for $100 now, or $300 in a year, just don't pair her, feed her, and get your money. And don't just be pairing animals to be like, I'm going to have 25 clutches. Okay, that's great. But if you're not moving anything at the end of the day, you've wasted an enormous amount of time, energy, and it doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
So, you have to adapt.
They just got in. I got to jump off here. I got to go help them unload groceries and stuff.
All right.
they just got in. I'll talk to y'all later.
All
Sorry,
right,
can't
kid.
hang up
No,
longer, but
no
love
lady
y'all.
just walked in the door.
Yeah,
I gotta go get groceries and stuff. See y'all.
all right, later. Yeah, I
Right.
didn't think I was going to be going that long today. Anyway, I'm sort of still getting back into the swing of doing the lives, doing the videos, and all that stuff. It's just between year end of stuff for work, and then all the stuff that happened with the auction. I've sort of just stopped doing a lot of my stuff.
Right.
So I will be back on Tuesday, and then obviously next Saturday. Hopefully, I can get a guest up here, and get back to the interview show. But I do realize, with the time slot on a Saturday, maybe I start a different show and just do this as a panel. I have Tuesday for my updates, and maybe I can find a better time during the week on a night that's not crowded.
Right.
To do the interviews. I just do think, especially, because we have reptile shows. If you're a breeder and you're vending, chances are, you're at a show right now, or you're packing up, leaving a show, depending on how involved you are.
Right.
So it might be something I want to revisit, or I'm gonna look to see who's on after me. So I think I have a pretty big window. So if I push it back to like 6, might be a little bit better. But I will, think about that moving forward. But I do want to get back in the swing of things of doing, these lives more consistently and getting my videos out. Because I think it's been months since I put out a video. There will be one next week though, with the one I'm the one I'm picking up. It's going to be nice, and I think it's going to be able to. It might change the direction of a lot of these projects that I'm working as far as the double, triple recessive, that stuff goes. So I'm really excited.
Yeah.
If that one proves out to be heifer-pied, it's even better. I mean, it's a black-head leopard desert ghost. Possible.
That's what I'm stoked for this year. Like, I can't wait. It just sucks because right now I'm not breeding nothing. Like, I've got a good 4 months before I'm going to start breeding. I got a couple females I got to get to size, and then I'm going to get I'm looking for a couple adult females. I just don't know exactly what. Like, there's genes that I know I want to get, but then it's just finding that gene that has something else that's cool, or that you can use and everything. So that just
right.
Yeah, but like my ultra male. So I got a male ultra male het pied 66 double het hypo clown that I'm going to breed with a triple het female that's hypo clown pied. So I'm hoping to get at least one hypo clown pied out of there, and then they'll all be het for ultra male. Yeah. So that one I'm super stoked on. And then there's one kind of like your female that you got, the super vanilla, super pastel, and then GHI, and it's either asphalt or yellow belly. And I'm hoping I have that asphalt because I got a male, my banana orange dream yellow belly that I want to put to her. And if you do the yellow, she ends up being yellow belly, then that's just going to be ivories that, some of those pop out in there. So I got to do a shed test with Charlie, send that out. Hopefully she'll be asphalt. If not, then I'm going to have to try to get another male that's of decent size, that's got asphalt in it and breed with her. So,
yeah, that's like one of the difficulties I'm finding is that a proven breeder for a lot of the projects I want to work is the price point is astronomical, or nobody's selling it.
Exactly.
It's like how do you buy something? How do you buy something that's not currently on the market? You have to make it.
Right.
So that's sort of what I'm looking at, and I trying to tailor these projects to sort of work for me, not necessarily me selling them to everybody. I want to make stuff that I'm going to hold back, and then what I where I miss, and that's the stuff that's going to be depending on what the pairing is, the middle to lower end stuff is. As much as if I do hit something amazing, as much as I would like to pocket that money to sell it, that is stupid.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like from a triple het to triple het, the odds of you making that again with that pairing
Right.
Exactly.
Your odds of making it to begin with were slim. So I can't, like, I see these people selling this stuff world's first. If it was a world's first and it's that good and you have price, somewhat decently, why not add some more things to make another one?
Yeah.
Correct.
The world's first in that sort of project area. I think
You just gave it away pretty much. Like, hey,
Yeah.
here you go. Like,
because if it's something good, and okay, I made a world's first, I want to get the money, and it's really nice. Somebody that has the money is going to pay you for it, and chances are, whoever that is might have a bigger name, bigger facility, more animals,
Right.
and so you're just shooting yourself in the foot by doing stuff like this, just for that instant gratification. Yeah, okay, I made the world's first. Oh, it's on social media. Everybody's sharing me out. Okay, I sold it for $10,000. Well, if the person that paid $10,000 or whatever for it is, Ozzy or Canova or somebody like that, well, you might as well not even work that project anymore.
nope.
Because they are going to blow you out of the water.
Yeah.
So it just blows my mind. It's like, oh, I hit a bunch of visual puzzle combos. I'm going to sell them for the money. It's like, what?
What are you thinking? Like, what are you thinking to me? And they're gonna go off and you sold to them, like you sold to him for $10,000. He's gonna go off and make $100K, $200K off of it.
Well, I forget how much Bob Voot said he made off of that one DG clown DG pie that he had that he paired to everything. I think he made I want to say $750,000 in stuff from that one animal that he had. It just we all want that that payday, that gratification, but at the same time, would you rather have $10,000 right now or $1 million in 3 years?
In 3 years,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
Exactly. That's the way to look at it. It's all an investment. Are you gonna get rid of your investment, or are you gonna let that investment keep climbing?
Right.
Now,
obviously, sometimes you can invest in something and it turns out to be, not really much of anything, like desert or Scaleless head or the Scaleless stuff. I mean, that's.
But also, you could hold on to shit like that and never know. One day it might pop back up, but you're feeding it. It's taking time. So
Yeah, I mean, I get that. You might not make it, but I'd rather not. Sell a snake that could potentially make me money, and then something happens and I get out, or whatever, markets change, things like that. But and see that had I sold it to somebody else, see them have success with something that I was working. I just think, man, because I'm not going to get the fame for that.
Right.
People are going to forget that I was the one that originally produced it. If somebody with a bigger name, with more money, with more resources, blows it out of the water.
Right.
Let's see what David said. I put it up there. People dumping unrelevant snakes. Yeah. So nobody at a show, for the most part, is going to buy your pastel triple het male. They don't care that it's triple het. They see it, especially it could even be a proven breeder male. They're probably not going to buy it because pastels don't really age too well, depending on what lines you got. But yeah, I just think we need to sort of collectively avoid certain things and move differently, so we're not all making the same things. Hey,
Yeah.
Steven, how's it going? Great conversations last night.
So, Steven.
But yeah, I if you're getting into a project now with hatchlings that's already been done, that people are working, you might as well not just save your money, get a breeder male or close to breeding site, something like that. Hey Keegan, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. I get, we all like how certain things look, but if you're doing this and you want to move towards a business, and it doesn't make sense to replicate what's already out there. What's out there now in 3 years, it's going to change.
right.
I don't want to, continue to beat a dead horse. Be different. If you can't spend the money to go after the really high-end stuff, chances are you can find a codom or two that people aren't working too heavily. and sort of add that in to what you're doing to sort of, move to the, start a new path rather than making the same stuff everybody else is making.
Correct.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, I try to at least get something with 2-3 codoms in it. Especially like if you're doing a pairing, have something that at least has 2 and then the other has 3. And if you can't, even try to get something that at least one recessive gene in there.
Right.
Right. I mean, I'm not saying to be successful at this, because clearly I've just started, but not all of us can afford to buy a triple recessive visual animal.
Right.
No.
So you have to see where are you? So if you have a project idea in mind, let's say you want to do, we'll just say a double recessive project. Well, you can get the double hats. They're probably going to be the cheapest.
Mhm.
You can add codoms in with those double hats. It's still cheaper. But, you add a visual hat with to the double hat with the codom. You're constantly improving your odds of hitting that double visual. So obviously the best pairing is double visual with codoms in it.
Right.
But not many people can do that. So maybe one of the recessive projects you're working is lower than the other one price wise. So you're able to get a visual with codoms that's het for the other one. Maybe go with that one. Just
if you can, like, get a mill, like a visual mill, maybe 1 or 2 codoms in there, and then like get your female. That would be your het. That's going to be a little cheaper way.
Right. I mean, for me, if I'm working at just a single gene recessive, so if I want to work anything into pied, I don't mind getting a 5 gene codom het pied male, because I have a visual pied female.
Right.
Okay,
And within a year, maybe 2 years, I'm already breeding all those codoms back to mom.
Right.
So sort of now.
That's kind of how I like to do. I like my visuals to be my females, just because I can take that male baby back to the mother, and then it's less time, compared to you doing it the opposite way,
Mhm.
where your visuals your male and your het your female. You got to wait 3 years for that baby to put it back to that male if you want to come out with more, So it's cutting down that time a little bit more to me, is how I look at it.
Right.
Oh, Steven, you got a good question. And I don't work banana, so I don't know if the sex determinant genes are applicable to a super banana male. But I would assume if they are and it can make females, that probably would be a good idea, because you're at least going to hit bananas. Work these other genes. You're going to get those combos together. So I mean, those typically sell really well. Anything that's visually stunning, right? A lot of people are buy with their eyes. Oh, okay. So Steven is playing the long game with this.
Focus solely on the pet market, then save the money.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're looking
to buy a single hire, yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he has a video on his channel about how to, one of those. If we started here in year 1, how do we get to this in year 5? But Steven talks about stuff like this all the time.
Yeah, he's got a lot of good videos. He just did one the other day. Forget what it was. No, something he was doing.
But yeah, I mean, it depends. If just starting out fresh. I mean, if you're gambling on a head-to-head, right? You could pair, the same head-to-heads for 20 years and never hit a visual.
Right. That's how.
Right. Now, obviously, I would think after year 2, if they were both 100% hets, you'd probably replace the male. Try a different male, or something like that. But yeah, if you can just get in to make a killing in the pet market stuff, and then get yourself some capital to reinvest, then you maybe can start working towards that higher end stuff.
Then I'd be more buying like your Pied, your Bells, like what constantly sell, what people walk in and see the most and attract them the most,
Right. because my buddy had a Bell Complex hatchling sitting right next to my proven breeder that I'm selling, which is I'm still selling, and those things were flying. I'm like, but this thing is almost 5 years old now. It eats, you don't. I've never had any issues with it. Wouldn't you want that? As an animal over a hatchling that's a couple months old that could potentially have issues. So yeah, I mean, I personally am not, just given with what I'm working with, I'm not going to do any extra pairings just for pet stuff.
Right.
It's going to be that sort of pet stuff's going to be the byproduct.
Right.
So if I it's my misses, things like that, right? So if I hit a couple of codom combos, things like that, and I miss hitting like the all gene or something like that, then that's what I'll sell. But I don't want to be doing something specifically
right
for pet stuff, because where I'm at, I don't have the money to just drop $100K on animals and infrastructure and things like that to make these higher end things now. So I have to sort of slowly add things that are better, and I have finite space.
Yep.
Now, if and I've never looked at, I would assume if I could do extreme volume at that pet level market, sell at shows, the lower end stuff. I don't know where. I think you have to do both. Or,
Yeah.
You have to be producing some things, maybe not intentionally for that pet market. You have to be producing things for, the market that, we're currently in. And you have to strive to, hit that, when am I selling to these guys that have been doing this for a while and are successful? I think you have to have those three tiers, and sort of, if you're working in the middle, you can sort of shoot for both.
Yeah.
Rather than I'm making this stuff for pet market, I'm making this stuff for people like us, and then I'm trying to hit this stuff.
Right.
But yeah, but you do have to sort of yeah. There we go. Rob's saying it. And if you miss and the market is what it is, remember you have to be feeding these things if you're going to get stuck on a price.
Yep.
And somebody was willing to take it for $20 less than you had it on your table for. And generally, babies are the things that visually appealing babies that are priced right. Well, I'm hoping that the misses are going to be either very cheap or still look visually good. I just don't have a use for them. So I will, they'll go to the show or on Craigslist or something like that. But it's still early here. Or they go to an auction or something like that. Or pets, things like that. Well, I mean, that's like what's that like the saying? Scared money doesn't make money.
Yeah, scared money don't make no money.
Right.
You can say all that, but if you have limited money to begin with, it doesn't matter if you're scared or not. It's like people that are extremely attractive saying.
What's the other one? If you're scared, go to church.
I mean, that's another thing I can't stand. It's like, you have somebody that's really, really attractive, right? And they're like, well, looks aren't everything. It's like, you had to put in half the effort. Just by existing, you sort of bettered your situation. I mean,
right.
Think about when we were in high school. How many people would get bend over backwards just for that hot chick?
Yeah.
And he could have been the worst person ever.
Right.
So don't tell me that looks
exactly. Get that crap out of here.
But yeah,
you
have to learn to adapt to your market where you're at and what sell. You have to vend some shows, see what sells.
Definitely. I like to try to do both. I want to have stuff that's going to be fire just producing some bangers, but then I want that pet quality too. I want stuff out there for just your typical pet keeper that, your pied or.
Right. Like your sick ass pies, your sick. I mean, you got albinos. You got sick ass albinos out there that people are gonna pass by the table, and be like, oh my god, that's gorgeous. You got your bells, obviously your blue eye Lucy's. I mean, they're in a show. I walk in, you don't hear a little kid say, I like that one with the blue eyes. Those always sell. They're not gonna make you a shit ton of money, but they're gonna be sellers. They're gonna go out the door. They're not gonna be sitting down on your table. You can get rid of them for a good price and make a little bit of money off of them.
If you're making $100 to $300 a snake, I mean, that's not a bad day.
And you're getting customer base, and you're building customer base. These customers could come back eventually too and be like, well, damn, I really want to get in, and now I want to buy some of your upper higher end stuff that you got. And then you built you a customer, you built all types of stuff over all the end of all that,
Like all these kids that go to these expos and see that, they want to do it someday. Are all of them going to do it? Of course not. But there's going to be those few that do. You always have a new snake person that's coming into the industry, that's getting into it. Yeah, they're not maybe breeding right away, but they're getting into liking a snake. They buy it eventually. Someday they may be that person. So as long as we're growing and we're building people into the industry, there's always going to be room to sell, that pied and stuff. Now, that doesn't mean go and overdo it because, I mean, shit, that it is crazy right now. Like on Morph Market, it just makes me sick. I love pieds, but it just makes me sick. I'm like, God, there's so many, there's thousands on here.
Right. And there doesn't
produce very pretty pieds. That's the way it's going to come down to, like your OD pieds, your super orange, black, I hate to say it, those fucking emoji pieds you see all the time. Those sell, like, and it's hard to hit those. That's like a coin toss in the air, but
exactly
right. If you get those sell. Like people love to see a freaking smiley face on a snake. Okay, cool. Here you go. So some of that stuff is just appealing. Exactly what Steven just said. Anything that's appealing on your table, that's gonna appeal and attract those customers over to your table. Look over and be like, that's crazy looking. What is that? And it might be the cheapest thing on your fucking table, but it's got to draw attention,
Right.
And so I do think it's regionalized. Here in Pennsylvania, there's probably a show every week, and some big, some small. But we don't have a huge like national. We don't have like anything close to like Tinley, Daytona, things like that. So if you're bringing stuff to the table that would sell at a place like that, in Tinley or Daytona or one of these big shows, you're probably not going to do that great. Unless there's another breeder there that is working that project.
Right.
And then, if you're in an even smaller market where you're having, your local reptile shows at the VFW, you're definitely not going to be selling that higher end stuff. So you want the stuff that, you're going to be visually appealing.
Yep. Absolutely. I can't go throw a bunch of sunsets on a table at a lower end show and expect to sell everything because I'm not gonna sell shit. Parents that are walking in with kids ain't gonna buy a sunset off my table either for their kid. It's just not gonna happen.
I think if you can make stuff that's visually appealing in the $50 to like $250 range, something that's nobody's gonna break the bank. If they're going just by simply a pet.
Right.
They will take that really nice pied. They will take that blue-eyed because we forget because we're all these wacky reptile Pokemon people that get stupid excited over certain things.
Exactly.
I'm old enough to remember the first time I saw an albino when I was younger, and it was just like, what is this? So to be. Now, obviously, back then they were relatively, I think still relatively expensive when I was a kid when I had my corn snake, which was an albino as well. But showing that off to your friends as a kid, if it was just a normal corn snake and normal ball python, it's not. Yeah, it's cool, but this one's all white. So move forward, to today, to be able to be that kid. I think that's cool, to have that cool animal, that either your friends are afraid of or love. But I do think, you have to realize who you are selling to and where you're at. Because some of these smaller shows, you know, and I'm talking about the really small ones, you know, in your more rural areas where it's like, you know, 20 vendors at a VFW
Right.
or like the bingo hall.
Yeah.
If
We
you
have
go
some
in with
down
really,
here.
really nice stuff that's expensive, you're going to have a horrible show.
Right.
People may comment and say nice things about all your stuff, but you're probably not going to sell things.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I remember the pied I wanted so bad, but it was like $20,000 back years ago, and now it's just a $200 snake, if even that. Sometimes.
Yeah, I
Shit,
mean,
I'm seeing these males go for like $100, man.
yeah, it's just amazing, just, you know, seeing the price changes from, you know, when they came to the market, and then when they became prolific in the
Yeah.
market. Just that, you know, sometimes that price can happen relatively quickly if the project goes bust. But yeah, when I was younger and going to reptile shows, it was, I'm going to buy the coolest thing that I can reasonably keep, and, you know, whatever was in my price range. So
Right.
I didn't really necessarily care what the heck was in it. I think we care a lot because we are interested in breeding these things for the future. But, you know, sometimes a very simple 1 to 2 gene animal can look much better than something that is
Yeah.
more genetically stunning, but maybe not visually appealing to somebody buying just with their eyes.
Right.
So, and, you know, and Steven, you know, with that question and his follow, it brings up a good point. We also don't want to get to the point where we're making stuff for us and we forget about, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that pet market.
Yep.
Where we just sort of you know, because as a industry, we can certainly go, okay, we can set prices, you know, and sort of be firm
Right.
on certain things. So if people stop working certain projects and those snakes sort of evaporate,
Beginning of the convo started, I was saying we
well,
should.
that was me. I'm hoping I hit those run of the mill stuff as a byproduct of what I'm shooting for. I don't have the space to be intentionally breeding specifically for that market. I haven't done I haven't been in this long enough to, you know, see the financial advantages or disadvantages of doing that. I just know that for me, you know, that's the stuff that's going to be on my table is going to be stuff where I'm not hitting. Hopefully, it is visually appealing, but I think for, you know, the right price. If you see a ball python on the table for $5 and it's a pastel male, somebody will buy it.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the mill field.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. For me personally, I don't want to do some pairings just specifically targeted at that market. Those
Right.
those combinations that sell. You know, I may be working with them, like, you know, pied stuff. You know, so the pied stuff on my table is going to be pied stuff that I don't want, or, you know, bell combination stuff, or bell project stuff that I don't want, or
Right.
that I don't want to hold back. So that's where I'm at. You know, eventually, if I do get growing this and get bigger, you know, that's something for me to think about at a future date. You know, I've only vended one show, attended a bunch, but you know, it really depends. But I do think, you know, we can't sort of push out, you know, that market,
Right.
and hopefully it comes back. I mean, to where it was, you know, previously, when, because I think from my experience vending this show, it was, okay, check out these cool pine snakes. Okay, go past my stuff. Okay, here's this, you know, bell stuff, or comments about, oh, and more ball pythons.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, you saw the vendor list.
Right. You seen the 17 vendors that were on there that were selling ball pythons.
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
some of it just amazes me where it's like, huh? Most of us all have social media or have vended that show previously, and if you're in the area, you generally attend. But yeah, I mean, you have to be able to tweak what you're doing towards your market, where your reach is, and where you can sell.
Yeah.
And who you can sell to.
Just think back as when you were a kid, and if you were walking in that show, what would you want? You know.
I wanted a bell when I was a kid, and I just barely produced my first bell last year. I could have bought one. I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna produce mine. I could sell them anyways, vend at the show. So
Yeah,
Yep.
and and we can't really get stuck on price. Like I was saying earlier, if it's something that you were selling 100% of the time, and it was on the the lower end of the price scale, would you rather be a stickler and be like, this is a $200 snake when you could have sold it at the past 5 shows for $100?
right.
So, I sold that. It's like okay. I'd rather just sell.
Savage Critter says, "I am a kid and I want one of everything." That's awesome.
What government is actually losing money? Well, fun fact: currently, I don't really have to be, for me, but I will in the future. I'm still under certain thresholds here.
Yeah, I got a message earlier saying I'm gotten a freeze coming through tonight.
You find freeze there.
That's what I'm. Let's see, close to 20s probably. Close to 20s.
It's been cold here.
What are you at right now? Are you in the negatives?
Me? No, it's 20, but I don't know what the wind.
You're in 20.
What the wind chill is.
Let's see. Yeah, lower 30s.
Better go move the outside animals inside.
We're lower 30s tonight.
But yeah, there are certain things that you probably hold on and be stingier about the price, but then you're still feeding it. If you were always intending to sell it, just suck it up.
Right.
'Cause I'd rather have, let's say I have $2,000 worth of animals listed on my table. If I don't mark anything down, I'm leaving with everything, or maybe minus 1 or 2 animals that were visually appealing. But if I start marking this stuff down, and I have those 20 animals that I went to the show with, and now I'm going home with 0, and the trip has been paid for, you just gotta, swallow your pride and something like that.
Yep.
Because I know when I was there, I had what I thought were fair market prices for selling to a morgue market, something like that. And I was like, you do your lap, see what everybody else has them selling for, and sort of adjust. And I didn't mark mine down soon enough because we had a lot of foot traffic. And I think if I had my end of show prices in the beginning of the show, I would have sold the stuff.
Right.
But
makes sense.
Yeah.
Because the whole idea is, if we're taking a loss on perceived market value, we should theoretically be able to make it back later on when things change and you have better things, and anyway.
Yeah, that's what you would think. You just hold it and wait till it's, to me, it's like stock markets. It could be one thing 1 month and it could be another thing another month. It all just depends. You just gotta, it's when you really decide you want to sell it or you want to hold it back.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, they're gonna know. I forget. I know with the sole proprietorship or whatever the hell I'm considered now, there's a certain limit I can write off, but we'll still have to pay taxes on certain things. And I think Square also does all that stuff for you.
Yep, Square does.
And I don't mind paying taxes. Something is a necessary evil. You have to do this properly. You can't just be squirreled away in a basement doing everything cash sales with no presence. That's sort of.
Hey, I got my LLC
because if you're doing all that stuff and then you get busted or something happens,
right?
It's bad news. So
I got my LLC and a tax ID and everything. That's exactly what I did that like a month ago. So
for me, that's the next step. But
Yeah.
I haven't, hit the thresholds needed where
Right.
it's an issue because everything's a loss.
Right.
And I think it's $5,000 that I can write off, but at the end of the day, it's I'm not going to get myself into some tax stuff for future credits or
Right.
whatnot. I'm just gonna. It's what it is. And when I start getting to the sales side where okay, now I have to do the LLC, then it's going to transfer everything over and actually have the business rather than the sole proprietorship.
I mean, you could also like, I mean, even if you're not making much or anything off of it, you could also like start an LLC, go to a bank, start your own bank account with that LLC, go get a credit card through that LLC, and start building up your company its own credit. So by the time you do start bringing in decent money, you built your company up at least a decent little credit line, and therefore you can start taking that credit line and investing more into your company and so forth and so forth.
Right.
It just be smart with it because there's so many, especially owning LLC, like it's insane what you can and can't do.
Right. Like if I owned where I am right now, square footage of what I use to do this, I can write off the mortgage. It's just like
Right.
Okay, this space, the actual area that is occupied, like all that stuff. But yeah, I'm not there, now. I am still under the point where I don't need my actual, licensing because I haven't hit the sales threshold.
Right.
I'm still considered a hobbyist.
Right. So, hey, we're all considered hobbyists. We're just taking hobbyists to a whole nother.
Right. So you have to be familiar with your local state laws and when it is required for you to have things. Pennsylvania is pretty lenient to an extent. I could have to get my license this year with one sale. To give you an idea, like I might have to do it in a couple weeks, or when I can start shipping again. But I don't mind doing that as far as the business side of things. That's in the future when it makes sense for me to do that.
Right.
When there's more income and revenue and
Right.
actual money to be taxed.
Right.
Keep your receipts. So I know last year I don't have to do anything for my taxes because I didn't sell anything. I didn't sell anything. I sent out animals, but I didn't make any money. And this year we'll see.
Fucking A. That's how it works, though. I literally, like with my pressure washer company, there's like the first 2 to 3 years it was making nothing, and half the time it was paying my ass back for what I did put into the company to make it what it was too. So
Right.
it was always complete circle. It was only a few years ago it started bringing in quite decent, good money, and then you could run from there, with it. So I learned I needed accounting. Accounting is the best thing I ever did in my life.
Yeah, and I definitely recommend that. But I also don't want to be like, okay, here's all my snake purchases that I made. Let me go right off, or because it's under me, for the proprietorship and in doing business as it's like, wait, I also don't want to get audited by trying to take these write-offs for this side of things. Anyway, so disclaimer: I'm not a financial professional.
No.
You're not listen to me about anything about that. This is not advice. This is just conjecture. But if you do know what I do for my day job, if you have questions about low-income housing tax credit, the housing choice voucher program, I will be happy to assist you with things related to those things because that is the field I work in. So just want to put that disclaimer out there.
In other words, don't sue us.
Right.
Well, I can get sued by the IRS anyway, so for signing something with a typo on it for my job. But But yeah. So we do this. You know, it's
don't
more
know what-
conversational, and you know, we're not all experts.
No.
So
By far.
just because I say something, you know, there's, you know, other channels, other people that do this better than me. You're there, but I'm not putting that up there.
RO.
I want to start to, you know, wrap this up. Thank you guys for coming on. I have to feed the snakes, which I sort of pushed off due to the other things that were, you know, going on, and there's some weather stuff that happened here. But I'm inundated and have to go through the rat collection and feed a lot of things off. So that's going to take some time. And then, you know, it's almost dinner time here. I was only planning on going for about an hour. So thanks to everybody that tuned in. Thanks for you guys for, you know, coming on the panel. Hopefully next week I have a guest, and then we get back to the, you know, the interview shows. But it is nice every once in a while to have these panels where it's just conversation and see where it goes.
Hell yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, thanks to everybody that tuned in. Thanks to everybody that, once again, that participated in the Sea of Serpents auction that happened on Thursday. Raised a lot of money to help them out during this time. And, you know, check me out on Tuesday morning when I'll be back at it to probably give you, you know, some updates of stuff that happened. Maybe some more breeding plans, something. I don't know what I'm going to talk about yet. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. We will see you next time.
Peace.